It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of April 18th, 1997. We've got 5 movies to look at today, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and jump on into it. We'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is the thriller Murder at 1600.
Roger. Be advised you're also holding another code 2 call for killing.
It wouldn't be the first time. There was violence in this town.
Roger, status change location.
It wouldn't be the first time a brutal murder was covered up.
Okay, I'm coming down, but be advised I'm coming from northwest.
And it wouldn't be the first time a prominent family was involved. But it would be the first time it happened here.
I've got a murder at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. An address that changes all the rules. Signs of force?
No.
So you're saying sex, not rape. So she had sex in the White House.
You were there.
Who was where?
The president and the first lady. They were in the White House.
This is global, detective. It's a little bit off your turf.
This is a homicide. This is my turf.
The presidency is an institution, not a person. An institution will be protected at all costs.
If the president or any member of his family killed Carlatown, they would call me before they even wiped the blood off their hands.
So what are you gonna do? You gonna put the president in a lineup?
Where are you going with this?
Either to the White House or to the press.
You were born to become a chalk outline.
Boy, that escalated quickly at the end. Yeah, that took a whole nother, that just took a whole nother level there at the end there. But no, I got nothing against that guy. That guy's a really good character actor, Daniel Benzali. But he's pretty good in this. In fact, I like this idea that the movie is trying to go for here. An idea about having a murder happen within the White House. You never had somebody getting murdered in the White House. Ever since before this movie had come out, or even since this movie came out, there's never been anything about a murder inside the White House. But hopefully that doesn't become the case in the future. But it's an interesting idea. It could have a lot of potential for a really cool action thriller concept here. I mean, there's a lot that's going for this movie to succeed. But if you watch the trailer closely, you can get a pretty good idea of who the bad guy is, who's the guy that started that's involved in the murder, and you can see where it's going to go here, his plan, all that type of stuff, and it's a real letdown of a film, honestly. Like, the story itself, it starts off very promising, but then it goes by the notes. It goes by the notes of what you expect from a thriller like this. You have a pretty good idea who the bad guy is pretty quickly, who's the murderer, and there's no real surprises, there's no real twist to it, and it's such a shame, too, because there is so much that could be done with this plot here, and the cast overall is very good. Wesley Snipes, I think, is very good in this movie. So is Diane Lane and Alan Alda. Ronnie Cox playing the president. Dennis Miller, he's actually okay in the movie. He's not doing his usual stick here, and there's a lot here that definitely could work towards the success of the film, but the story just goes a typical formulaic route here. You don't have any real surprises. Once you figure out who you think it actually is, it turns out it is indeed actually who you think it is, and it just doesn't work. It's a movie that I was really let down when I saw this movie for the first time, because I thought the concept was so good. I thought the trailer was really cool as well, but honestly, it just really didn't deliver on everything that it promised. It's a film that has so much potential to be something really good, but it just goes the been there, done that route. And I think that's its biggest problem. There's no real twist. There's no surprises to make it stand out on its own. It's just a very poorly made film, and it's a disappointment too, considering the promise that it had going for it in the beginning. It's a shame. I really wanted this movie to be really good, but unfortunately, it just isn't. So that's Murder at 1600. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. Another big disappointment, you would say, Tom Arnold in McHale's Navy.
the coast of the United States, a mercenary terrorist force has captured the island of San Marino. Their mission is to intercept a satellite, arm a nuclear missile, and destroy the Pentagon.
You ready, boys? Call 911. Well, there goes tonight's luau. It's party time! Are you way back in town? Okay, we can't take everything. Leave the guns. Hey, Mchale! Come on and pop me!
Tom Arnold, David Allen Greer, Dean Stockwell, Deborah Messing, with Tim Curry, Danton Stone, Bruce Campbell, and French Stewart. Mchale's Navy.
No way.
Big way. Directed by Brian Spicer.
First of all, it's not a very good sign if your lead star Tom Arnold is barely in the trailer. Like, he plays Mchale in this version, and even you have the original. Is another thing that's going against the movie is that Ernest Borgnine, who played the original Mchale, is in the film, and you only see him in one scene, and he's not even listed in the main credits. Like, you see everybody else in there: Tom Arnold, Dean Stockwell, Deborah Messing, David Allen Greer, Tim Curry, Bruce Campbell, French Stewart, Danton Stone. They don't even bring in Brian Haley from Baby Stay Out and Little Giants, or even Tommy Chung, who's in this movie. And that should be pretty much of a warning sign right there that this movie really isn't going to work. It's just like, it's not even that funny, man. Like, it's not a funny movie. It's not even doing what I think it's trying to do here. It's trying to be more of an action comedy in a way, but it just doesn't really work here. And that right there could be a sense of what I was thinking when I was going through this movie. I'm scratching my head thinking, what went wrong with this movie? I mean, there's a lot of potential for this to work here. I mean, you've got Tim Curry playing the bad guy. Tom Arnold is actually not a bad choice for the role of Quentin Mchale here, but man, this movie just sucks big time. Like, it's not even trying to be funny, and it's the sad part is, this is probably the worst movie that Tom Arnold did between Big Bully in 1996 and this, when he was trying to become a star in Hollywood because he had so many bad movies. This might be the absolute worst because there's so much potential with what you could do with this, and it just goes to show you that maybe Universal should just stay out of the water, because every time they try to make a movie that takes place mostly at sea, you know, Jaws: The Revenge, Waterworld, this movie, Battleship, chances are it's going to be a disaster in some way, shape, or form. That even the head of the studio, the former head of the studio whose production company produced this, Sid Sheinberg, basically said Mchale's Navy was a disaster, and I'm not even pretending that it wasn't a disaster. Like, this dude knew this thing was going to be bad big time, and it basically ended the production deal with his old studio after this film came out. And yeah, what a disappointment with the talent they have on here and the possibilities they could do with this, and this is the end result of it. I mean, such a bad movie, a real disappointment on so many levels. That this thing should have been so much better than it actually was, but no, it's a gigantic letdown. So, speaking of comedies that were gigantic letdowns, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. I feel like this whole episode is all about expectations and basically having them be all disappointments after seeing them all. Here's another one. Joe Pesci and David Spade in 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag.
Where the hell am I head? Tommy Spinelli is a hitman who's lost his luggage.
Don't worry about it, all right? He'll have it before he starts thinking. You got my heads and I want them back.
No, he's out of his element.
Like you're in Oregon. Trust me, pal. They don't feel it.
And out of his mind. Joe Pesci, Christy Swanson, and David Spade.
Tell me if this sounds like a phone hanging up.
Yeah, 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag. Rated R. Starts Friday, April 18th.
It says a lot when the title is the funniest thing about the whole movie. Just a letdown, man. A major letdown. This is directed by Tom Schulman. His first film as a director. Of course, this is the same guy that wrote Dead Poet Society. He also wrote Medicine Man, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, What About Bob, and Decent Proposal. He's written a lot of solid films in his career. This is his first directorial effort, and this is how it ends up. It's a shame, man, because Joe Pesci clearly is trying his best here. I think he is the best thing about the movie, but everybody else in here is just lifeless. Christy Swanson's not good in this, neither is David Spade. You start to see with this movie here that without Chris Farley there to kind of be the comic foil to him, David Spade is not really all that funny when he doesn't have him Farley right next to him. But I like the idea of what the film was going for. They were trying to go for like a dark black comedy mixed with an old screwball comedy from the 40s and 50s, and there's a lot of potential there, but it just doesn't show up on screen. There's not a whole lot of funny material in the film. Like I said, the only thing that really makes it stand out is Joe Pesci. You can see he's fully committed to this, but other than that, though, everything else about this movie is just dull. There's not a whole lot there that really is all that funny. There's no real good humor in there, not a whole lot of well-written characters, not a good script to work with, and the direction's not that great either. You can tell that this was one of those films that was sitting on a shelf at Orion Pictures for a long period of time, because this was a fit. Because, like I said, I've said before, this is one of those films where Orion was going into bankruptcy, so they basically had to put these out over the next couple of years. The studio that eventually bought all these films had to put them out, and this is something that was in development for 4 years before it came out. So that should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about this movie. Such a major letdown, man. There's so much potential here. Like I said, the funniest thing about it is the title, and that's not a good sign if that's the best thing you can remember from that movie. So, anyway, that's 8 Heads in a Duffel Bag. Now on to the next movie, Bill Paxton and Mark Wahlberg in Traveler.
On the back roads of America, there's a family of con men. They call themselves travelers, and their way of life has been a secret until now.
Sorry for your loss. Have a safe trip back to Philadelphia. Listen, my father said your father turned his back on his people. He said I got it right. I got it right by birth. Hold on a second. Won't hurt nothing to give him a chance. You can ride with me.
So you follow a story with a man and a group of nomadic con artists in North Carolina, one of them being Mark Wahlberg. Aside from him and Bill Paxton, Juliana Margulies is in here, as well as James Gammon and Nikki DeLoach. But most notably, this is directed by Jack Green, who has been the longtime cinematographer for Clint Eastwood's films. And this is his first movie he ever directed. And I don't really know too much more about this movie. I've never really seen it, but the guy's a really good cinematographer. I'd be very interested to see what he'd do as a director. And this thing got pretty good reviews, so there's definitely a chance this could end up actually being pretty good. Like I said, I've never seen it before, so I can't really say too much about it. So a quick one on this one. And a quick one on the last one, too, because I haven't seen it either, but we'll run through it real quick. Hollow Reed is next. So the plot of this is basically that a divorced gay man who begins to suspect his son is being physically abused by his ex-wife's new boyfriend, and takes place in the town of Bath, Somerset. Martin Donovan is in here, Jolie Richardson, Jason Fleming, some notable names here, but I really don't know anything about this movie in general. I've never seen it before, so I can't really say if it's any good or not. I mean, I can't even show you a whole lot of the clips there, because I don't know what that'll matter for copyright reasons, but I showed you a little bit as much as I could, but yeah, like I said, I don't really know too much about this one, so I can't really say if it's any good or not. I've never heard anybody really ever talk about it, so I don't know. I don't know if it's any good or not. I don't even see any reviews for it right here on the Wikipedia page, but that was the last one that came out this weekend to talk about, so that's Hollow Reed. So with that said, that wraps up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll wrap April up with 7 movies, including Tommy Lee Jones and Anne Heche in the disaster thriller Volcano, and we also have Mira Sorvino and Lisa Kudrow in Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. We have the family classic Shiloh, A Chef in Love, A Brother's Kiss, Flamenco, and Nothing Personal. So 7 movies to look at next time around. We'll delve into those on the next episode, but until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you very much once again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Until then, as always, take care.